Winston adjusted his backpack. His boots crunched on the forest floor. Ancient trees loomed over him like gnarled fingers reaching for the sky. A thick mist clung to the ground, making it hard to see. Maya clutched a lantern tightly, her knuckles white. Winston chuckled. "Relax, Maya. It's just a forest. What could possibly go wrong?" Oliver, busy filming with his video camera, gulped nervously. The deeper they went, the colder it got. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp earth and something unsettling. Winston felt a shiver run down his spine. He pushed the thought aside and pressed on, his lantern casting long, dancing shadows on the trees ahead. The forest was eerily silent, except for the sound of their own footsteps. Winston swore he could hear whispers weaving in and out of the wind. He stopped to listen. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, his eyes scanning the trees. Maya and Oliver exchanged worried glances. "A whisper," Winston replied, "like someone or something is talking about us." As if on cue, a twig snapped in the distance. The hair on the back of Winston's neck stood on end. He felt a cold breath on his cheek, even though there was no wind. "This is starting to freak me out, Winston," Oliver said, his voice trembling. Winston tried to ignore the growing sense of dread in the pit of his stomach. They stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a crumbling mansion with tall, pointed towers that seemed to claw at the sky. The once grand windows were now dark, empty sockets, jagged cracks spiderwebbed across the walls. "Whoa!" Maya breathed, her eyes wide with awe. "Talk about creepy," Oliver muttered, zooming in on the mansion with his camera. Winston grinned. This was it, the haunted mansion he had heard rumors of. "Let's check it out," Winston said, already striding towards the mansion. This was every paranormal investigator's dream come true. The front door creaked open as if inviting them inside. The air inside was thick with dust and the smell of decay. Cobwebs hung from every corner, and the only light came from their lanterns, casting long, eerie shadows on the walls. "Anyone home?" Winston called out, his voice echoing through the silence. The only answer was the sound of their own breathing. Suddenly, they heard it, a soft, mournful whisper coming from the library at the end of the hall. "Did you hear that?" Maya asked, her eyes wide with fear. Winston nodded, his pulse quickening. "This way," he whispered, leading them towards the library. The library was dark and dusty, the shelves lined with ancient books. A single window cast a sliver of moonlight onto a large mahogany desk in the center of the room. On top of the desk lay a leather-bound diary, its pages yellowed with age. Winston carefully opened the diary and began to read aloud. The words told the story of the Blackwood family who had once lived in the mansion. They were a wealthy and powerful family, but they were also cursed. The curse trapped their souls within the mansion, doomed to roam its halls for eternity. "We have to help them," Maya whispered, her eyes filled with sympathy. Winston nodded. He knew what he had to do, break the curse. Suddenly, the room grew cold. The diary in Winston's hand burst into flames. He dropped it with a cry, watching as it turned to ash. A dark figure began to materialize in the center of the room. "You will not interfere," the figure boomed, its voice like thunder. "This mansion is mine. The souls within it are mine." Maya and Oliver huddled together, their faces pale with terror, but Winston stood his ground. "You're the one who cursed them. You're the one keeping them trapped here." The figure laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the mansion. "They are bound to me for eternity," it roared. "Their souls will fuel my power forever." Winston knew he had to act fast. He remembered reading about the curse in his research. It mentioned a symbol of hope hidden somewhere in the mansion. "There's a way to break the curse," Winston said, his voice gaining confidence. "A symbol of hope." The figure just laughed. "You'll never find it," it sneered. "It's lost forever." Winston's eyes darted around the room, and that's when he saw it. A small, silver locket shaped like a sun, hidden behind a loose brick in the fireplace. He lunged for it. "This is it!" he cried, holding up the locket. The figure howled in fury. It lunged for Winston, but it was too late. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the cracks in the boarded-up windows, the locket began to glow. A wave of blinding light erupted from it, engulfing the figure and the entire mansion. When the light faded, the figure was gone. The mansion stood bathed in the warm glow of the rising sun. The air felt lighter, cleaner. The whispers were gone, replaced by the sound of birdsong from outside. Winston, Maya, and Oliver emerged from the mansion, blinking in the sunlight. They watched as the mist receded, revealing a peaceful forest bathed in the golden light of a new day. "It's over," Maya whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Winston smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. He had faced his fears and emerged victorious. He had freed the Blackwood family and restored peace to the haunted woods. As they walked away from the mansion, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of his adventures. The world was full of mysteries, and he was ready to solve them all.